What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of First Date Unsolved. What we're going to be covering today is unlike anything that I've talked about so far, but seeing as how we're only on season 2, that's probably not much of a statement. It's different though, so we'll just stick with that. Today, I am going to be discussing a Facebook scammer who has been putting work in and ripping people off since at least 2019. There is a Facebook page dedicated to the scamming and thieving that this woman has been doing called I Was Scammed by Jessica / Luna Hitchens / Indigo Hitchens / Jessie Rowe. Now, this is quite a lengthy name for a group, but that's only because the admins and creators had to list as many of the aliases used by this criminal as possible so that people knew they were in the right place. This is a private group, but it is open to anyone. You can request to be added. I requested and I was added with no issues. I haven't personally been victimized, and they still allowed me to join. So if you do purchase things on Facebook, like Facebook Marketplace, it's probably a good idea for you to join too, just so you can keep up with her antics and avoid being conned as well. I'll get to this in a minute, but she covers a lot of ground when it comes to the things that she's willing to lie about. I don't want to give too much away just yet, but yeah. I think I can link the group in the show notes just in case you're interested. If you do join, there are rules. Obviously, all groups have rules. Don't get on there just to be a jerk and make fun of people, because a lot of it is legit. Like, someone thought they were purchasing something from Facebook Marketplace and they never received what they paid for. Other people were, being kind and trying to help someone out, and they just, they got scammed. That's all. So I suggest you look into it, but just don't judge. Now, usually I try to remain unbiased and not point fingers here, because the cases I talk about are unsolved, and it's not fair for me to accuse someone of something just based off of what I've heard or what I've read on the internet. I will try to do the same here today, but no promises. There are literally hundreds of people who claim to be victims of this person, so I won't really be giving her the benefit of the doubt today. I'll just refrain from being too mean. How's that? I will share with you some of the stories I came across as well as screenshots, but the names of the people who shared these details will remain anonymous, and this was a wild ride to say the least. In Tina Lauser's episode, I talked about going down rabbit holes, which happens to me way too often. This journey, though, was far larger than a rabbit hole. This was more like wandering through those catacombs in Paris. Endless, dark, winding tunnels, some even adorned with skulls and bones and graffiti and dead ends. It was an interesting ride. So buckle up, boys and girls, because it's going to get bumpy. Now, the accused scammer has gone by many names over the years. Some of those are included in the title of the Facebook group, and those names include Luna Hitch, Jessie or Jessica Rowe Hitchens, Indigo Hitchens, and Jessie Rowe. At the moment, her main Facebook page is under the name Jessica Hitchens. I did send her a friend request, but she hasn't accepted at the time of recording this. Her estranged husband, Corey Hitchens, did take the bait though. After he accepted my friend request, I messaged him, and the exchange went like this. Hi, Corey. My name is Monica, and I started a true crime podcast this year called First Date Unsolved. I am currently working on an episode about Jessica Hitchens, and I wanted to, number 1, give you a heads up. 2, give you a chance to tell your side and make any comments if you would like to. He didn't respond until almost, like 1:30 a.m. the next morning. Wait, what? LOL. I think she's still alive and kicking. So I responded that morning at 6:25 a.m. She is, but she's been accused of a lot of theft and scamming. Crimes have been committed and there are victims, so that's why I'm covering her. He took some time to respond. He actually just messaged me back this morning, and this is what he had to say at 7:24 a.m. Yeah, we have a tumultuous relationship because of some of the things that she did, aside what she is accused of. We have not been together in a long time. I'm waiting for the divorce to finalize, which should be in the next 2 weeks. And that's where it ends. Personally, I don't really care about their relationship ending. Like, the only thing I was trying to get at was, hey, you're accused of knowing about what she was doing. Did you try to stop her? Like, I was trying to give him the chance to defend himself. But that's all I got. I'm not going to message him back. I'm sorry, I really don't care. I was just trying to give him a chance to defend himself, but that's what we're going to end with. So the most common method she uses to steal is to post photos of items for sale online. All of the photos have been taken from actual businesses and creators, and she passes them off as her own. Once she receives your order and payment, she either stops responding altogether or she'll let it drag out a little bit before she eventually ends up blocking you. I saw a lot of metaphysical items and oddities use this bait in the posts that were shared in the group. Some were candles, jewelry, taxidermy, witchy items like deity figurines, resin art. There were ceramics, baked goods like cookies. There were clothes, children's clothes, and shoes. And the most random, I think, were squishmallows. You know, those cute little pillows that look like animals? You usually see them at Walgreens. Yeah, she was trying to sell those on Facebook. In September 2022, Jess had posted on her personal profile that she had ceramic pipes and mugs to sell. The mugs were super cute, and the quality of everything looked great. You could tell a lot of work went into those, creations. I almost called them crafts, but I don't want to downplay it. They're creations. They probably looked so great because she stole the photos from an online shop called Diverse Earth Studios and claimed that the products were hers to sell. This Facebook group that I joined, they are very diligent when they see a post by Jessica offering to sell an item. They do their best to track down who the actual original artist is themselves, or they share info in the comments of their posts, or they share info so that the real artist can be notified that their work is being used in a scam. When the real creators are contacted by the group somehow, by someone, a lot of them do reach out to Jessica directly to confront her. And I think every instance I saw like that, they all got blocked. She blocks them and they get nowhere. Now, Jessica is more than just a one-trick pony, though. She's not too proud to beg either. I saw some screenshots from an account called, pardon my French, Bless a Broke Bitch Today. That was what the account was called. I don't know if it's a group she created, if it's a group that actually exists, that other people join to ask for money. I don't know, but that's what it's called. The person's post in this account claims to need money for Uber to get to work, or money for a babysitter, money for rent, money for gas, etc. She takes advantage of the kindness others show her, and that, to me, is even worse than lying about selling something. You're not technically stealing anything. It's still messed up, but you're just lying about real life situations, real problems that people go through to get money. And I'll get into that, and I'll give you a very specific and messed up situation in a minute. But I don't know, maybe it's possible she does need money for gas. It's possible she does need money for rent. I don't know. But you're such a piece of crap. You don't deserve anyone's kindness. I'm sorry. Moving on. Sorry. One member of the group shared that she met Jessica in an online support group for women in abusive relationships. Jessica shared that she had $70 she couldn't access in her Credit Karma account. She needed to get to the money to get gas and make it to work, but she couldn't. She must recycle her lies because the young woman who shared her story said that in the original post from 4 years ago, Jessica claimed to be trying to escape an abusive relationship, which is how the woman was scammed. The young lady was empathetic for the situation that Jessica claimed to be in and wanted to help. How low are you that you take advantage of women in a support group? These women are victims of physical and or emotional abuse, yet you sit there and con money out of them. That is disgusting. You know they are having a hard time in their life. They are trying to get out of a bad situation, and you take advantage. Wow. Some of my favorite descriptions of her from other members in that group. I keep calling it that group, but I think you know what I mean. I'm not going to say the whole name again every time. Some of the descriptions from the members include cancerous soul and disgusting parasite. If you ask me, these seem pretty accurate. Another woman shared screenshots of her interaction, and Jessica really has no limit to how far she will stoop. Just within one conversation, she claimed that her son had passed away. Didn't say when, but she claimed her son had passed away at some point, and that her daughter just made an attempt to kill herself. Now, I can't say for sure if her daughter actually did make a suicide attempt or not. If she did, that is incredibly sad, and I hope that she is getting all of the love and help that she needs. But the mention of her son passing away is total BS. I know this because she doesn't even have a son, according to a family member of her husband. So her lying and saying, "Oh, my son passed away, please feel sorry for me," that's a lie. And getting back to her husband, it would appear that Corey Hitchens and Jessica are no longer together. I wrote this before I got the Facebook message from him this morning. At the time of writing this, and now I guess, they are still legally married, but he is currently in a relationship with Jessica's former best friend. That bit of information is more just for entertainment purposes and really has nothing to do with any crimes that have been committed. But it has been speculated that Corey was also at one point in on his wife's illicit activities. I won't get too far into that theory because the main perpetrator here is Jessica, and it's not fair to accuse him of something without actual proof. A lot of it was screenshots from members saying, "Oh, I spoke to her husband," and a lot of the screenshots seemed like he was apologetic for her actions, so I'm not going to drag him too much. That's not why I'm here. What we do know is that he was aware of what she was doing, at least in some capacity. At one point, she did use his Facebook profile to contact people in an attempt to try to scam them. And like I said earlier, there's screenshots of him messaging people trying to apologize for her actions, or he was making excuses. So we'll leave poor Corey out of the rest of this, I guess. Now, if any of you are like me, you're wondering what the heck is going on. Are police involved? Is this woman going to be charged? Is she going to get some type of punishment? There is a post from Delaware State Police back in February of 2020 where a blurry photo of a female shoplifter was posted. The police department was asking for help identifying the woman in the photo because she was wanted in connection with multiple shoplifting incidents at the Giant grocery store on 202. The comments were split when it came to trying to identify the woman in the picture. Half of them thought it could be Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses. The other were pretty sure it was Jessica. Some of the commenters even listed her date of birth and address, which is just wild to me. That means that whoever these people were commenting, they know who she is. They've probably been scammed or conned by her at some point. They've done their research and they know who she is. In 2020, one member said that he sent the story to Dr. Phil. They never heard anything back, so someone suggested maybe reaching out to one of the court shows like Judge Judy for help. Another member suggested that everyone email the MTV show Catfish to have them help out. But that plan quickly fizzled when someone pointed out the fact that Jessica would be paid if she made an appearance on the show, and nobody wants her getting any more money. At least one member has contacted the FBI regarding her situation, on top of local law enforcement being contacted. It would seem as though Facebook has been useless in shutting down her crime ring. Her Cash App is still active, so they haven't shut her down there. It would seem as though Facebook has been useless in shutting down her crime ring. Her Cash App is still active, so they haven't shut her down there. And I'm unsure of what PayPal has said or done. Her personal Cash App is the $ Jessie302. And she has also used $ Ashy M Cash Ash. I'll spell it. ASHYMCASHASH. One more interesting and totally random detail that I stumbled upon while doing some research is that Jessica, along with 2 other women, claimed to have been harassed by a security guard from the Concord Mall all the way back in 2013. Jessica and 2 others decided to stage a nurse-in to protest a woman's right to breastfeed in public. They decided to pick the Hollister store that no longer resides in the mall for their protest. This next quote is from an article that I'll share, and I'll link for you guys. The protest from the 3 mothers was in response to an incident at a Houston, Texas mall in which a Hollister store manager threw out a mother who was breastfeeding inside of the store. The mothers carried posters which read, "Hey Hollister, my baby has a right to eat. It's the law." As the signs also said, "Normalize breastfeeding in public. Do you eat in public? Why shouldn't our babies?" End quote. 2 security guards showed up and asked the women why they were exposing themselves. Now, this is Jessica and the 2 women she was with. Security guards showed up and asked them, why are your chests out? Why are you exposing yourselves? And an argument took place, and the guards left, only to return with a state trooper. No one was arrested, and I don't know if the 3 women accomplished anything. It just all sounds like a cry for attention. I don't know what prompted them to do that. It just sounds like they wanted to be a part of something. I don't know. So this story was brought to my attention by one of my son's second cousins. At least, I think that's what she is. So shout out to Mandy for putting me onto this. I really do think that this person, all seriousness here, I really do think that this person is in desperate need of help, and her victims are desperate for justice. I don't know what is going on. I know police reports have been filed. I know police have asked for victims to come forward with their statements. I think the issue is not enough people come forward. I'm not entirely sure at all. There were many, many comments about her struggle getting sober and staying sober, which makes a lot of sense. One member said that she notices an uptick in scams after the sobriety posts stop. We went a little into addiction when we covered Lee McGinnis and his disappearance in episode 10. Addiction doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes a person do bad things sometimes. The last post to the group was made in April of this year, so April 2023. And that means she has either gotten help and has calmed down, or she is up to her antics away from the eyes of people who are already onto her. There were far, far too many recounts to cover here on this podcast, so I hope I did this story some justice, by the few that I did grab and pick out. It's probably I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. It's probably the only justice these poor victims will get, just by judging how things have been handled so far. That's very unfortunate. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. If you live in Delaware, you know. Law enforcement. Am I right? That's all I'm going to say. So I don't know. I thought this was a very interesting situation. I thought, hopefully I could shed some light on it. Don't have a huge following, but hey, any coverage of this, any exposure to get justice for someone, hey, I hope I can help. All right, the mascots are getting riled up. I say this all the time. If you guys thought nothing ever happened here in Delaware, you thought wrong. All right, guys, bye. I was scammed by Jessica/Luna Hitchens/Indigo Hitchens/Jessie Rowe. Now, this is quite a lengthy name for a group, but that's only because the admins and creators had to list as many of the aliases used by this criminal as possible so that people knew they were in the right place. This is a private group, but it is open to anyone, really, because, I haven't personally been victimized and they allowed me to join.